Welcome to another session of Wing Chun Kun. Uh, this one I like to tell you a story. I was in Shanghai early June 2018, and some friends of mine took me sightseeing and some shopping. It was about an hour drive west of Shanghai, and I came across a couple of stores, and they happened to sell a bunch of swords. There were at least 30 to 40 different types of swords hanging on the wall. And I came across one in particular that I really liked, but it was kind of expensive. They were selling it for $250 US. The woman says she could give me a discount, but I doubt how much of a discount I can get. So I decided not to buy, because then I have to bring it on the plane, which can, may or may not pass through customs or the luggage. So I decided not to buy it. So when I came home I kind of remember seeing this type of sword on eBay. So I decided to go on eBay and search, and sure enough, I found the sword on eBay. So this is the sword. Obviously, it's a very nice sword, very well built. It's called a Xuanwu Sword. It's a Taoist sword, and it's a mythical sword, and it's used to be that the legend has it it's owned by a lord who wanted to defeat these demons. So he went to the gods, and he asked for a weapon to defeat the demons. So the god gave him this sword. Not this actual sword, but this design of the sword. And he defeated the demons, and he liked the sword so well that he kept the sword. And then later on in his life, he managed to achieve immortality. And that's the story behind this sword. It's a very nice and well-made sword. So there's two prominent origins of Kungfu. One of them is the Shaolin, and the Shaolin Temple, and the other is the Wudang Mountains. And so this sword comes more from the Wudang Mountains, because they kind of specialize more in the softer art of Kung Fu, such as Tai Chi and other stuff. So the sword is sold all over eBay from China, and this is a Damascus Blade. If you look closely, there's a very nice pattern to it. It's sharp on both sides. This sword comes semi-sharpened. It'll cut cardboard, not as good as paper, cutting it perpendicularly, but it'll cut cardboard really nice. It will cut quite well, but it's not razor sharp. Disclaimer, I would suggest not to practice with a sword like this. It's way too dangerous. I don't even practice with it, and if you're not good with handling a sharp sword, don't do what I do, because you can either hurt yourself or hurt somebody who's standing behind you when you don't realize. This sword on eBay, I got for about $160. It was one of the cheapest one. On sale on eBay. They make this in several different colors and several different blade. So I got the one that's carbon steel. They didn't tell me what kind of steel it was, but I'm pretty sure it is carbon steel, high carbon steel. And they sell the sword also in Tai Chi blade, which is that flexible type that you can use it for practice. Then they also sell this sword without the Damascus. They would sell it as a smooth texture and instead of the Damascus texture. Or they do have another one that they sell the sword in a if you look at profile, the sword is like this. So the sword, instead of being tapered like this, there's a shape to the blade. So they sell it in those different types of blades, and they also sell it in brown. And some of them, when it's brown, the gold is more bronze looking and more flat looking. And I would assume that the Tai Chi ones are in a different weight category, because the Tai Chi blade is much thinner. So this is a stiff blade. It would be a sword that you could bring to battle, and it's a sword meant for a light armor soldiers, because this kind of a little bit heavy. There's a lot of heft to this sword when you use it, and it's quite a strong sword. It will kill and it will stab through light to medium armor, because it's a really strong and stiff sword. So it's a very well constructed sword. It has a tiger, snake and turtle, phoenix, and a dragon on the scabbard. And these four animals, mystical animals, they represent the four directions. I guess it's like north, east, south, and west. And they also repeated a really beautiful looking turtle and snake at the pommel. It is full tang, and its construction is really good. And I really enjoy the sword, although I don't use it in practice because it's way too dangerous. I can use it. I can use it just to do 1-2 moves that I am familiar with, because I don't want to lose a finger or an ear for that matter. But it is a really nice sword, and I tried it in the backyard to trim some bushes, and it seemed to work really well, even though it's not razor sharp. It is a really nice purchase from eBay. They delivered on time. In about 2 weeks, it arrived at my door, because sometimes ordering stuff from eBay from China, you sometimes could take like 2 months, 3 months, and it's ridiculous. So this vendor was really nice. They got it done on time. That's everything that I wanted. Sometimes these swords, they sell for $250. Sometimes I've seen, looks like the exact same sword is selling for $350. So you really have to shop around on eBay and find the vendor that have a good history and that are selling swords that are the same, because the markup, the price differences on for swords on eBay is really bad. Then you got to really shop around to find out which vendor is good. And I'm really glad, because I picked up these swords in China to see which one I liked, and then I ordered it. It's really difficult ordering swords on eBay because you can't touch it. You don't know where the balancing point is. This is a two-handed sword, and it balances around here. So this is pretty light considering it's a two-handed sword. As we do in Chinese martial arts sword fight, even when it's a two-handed sword, we would rotate some moves. We would hold it as a two-handed sword, and other moves we would hold it as one hand to get the speed and the reach. So we alternate between two and one hand, and that's how we use the sword. The other thing I like about the sword is that the sound of this sword when you use it. I don't have the room here because I'm going to hit my table on this side, which is out of camera, and I actually will hit my camera right here. I'm half an inch away from the lens, and to this side I have my computer, so I can't really use it here, but I'll record the sound. and to show you that when you use the sword like this, it has a really nice whipping sound that really sounds like a really good sword. So here's the sound and listen for it. I cranked it up the volume just a little bit, and that sounds really well. So Xuanwu Sword, I really recommend it. This is a really beautiful collection, addition to my collection, and that's the video of this week. Thank you, and have a nice week. Thanks, bye.